the main plenary discussions, the fact that methane is not on the table is really ridiculous. But even what is on the table, the fact that there is so much contesting of everything that is trying to prevent us from using a fossil fuel-based society, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of people who've, as a result, come to think of it as like a conspiracy, that there's actually, the government's actually working for the oil companies, and we're just fools who just go along with it, and we believe we have democracy because we get a vote once every 5 years. Is there any other reason that you can think of why the world would actually choose to actually, I mean, those people who are in there discussing nothing except money, surely they either don't believe it or there's some other agenda. Have you got any idea what it could be? And the second question is the sea. I'm really very worried about our situation in the sea. Can you just tell me what you would have told us if you'd had more time last night about the sea?
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that why are people quarreling inside COP? Because not a single one knows what they're saying. They're all career diplomats, career bureaucrats, and career politicians, none of whom are scientists and none of whom have actually got any positions except country positions, which are that I will take home more than the other. If you look at the COP from 1 to 17, the same person hasn't attended the next COP, either the same minister nor the same bureaucrat. Most of them, like for instance in India, the person who's coming here was appointed last week. So hasn't got a position at all, except I won't do what my predecessor did. So what you're dealing with is people who are talking about matters they knew nothing about, to an audience which is not in Durban, but in their own countries. And it's about a subject that cannot be dealt with, as I said before. Why would I quarrel with you? And why would I keep quarreling with you? Unless I didn't know what I was talking about. 2, I didn't know what I wanted. What do we want with carbon dioxide? As I said, what is the position? What are we quarreling about? Not one person at COP17 is saying, all right, I will do this. Let's quarrel about this. Shall we put off coal first or cars first? That hasn't even come to the table. The quarrel is, you have more carbon dioxide than I have. Therefore, you must allow me to have as much carbon dioxide as you have before I mitigate it. That is the quarrel, right? To put it simply. Now that has half the world on one side and half the world on the other. Now that is not a bridge you can divide, because the developed world is saying, okay, we've made the mistakes, please don't make them again. We will pay you money not to do it. And the developing world is saying, I know, I'm sorry, that's too late, I can't go back with just this much money. If you give me this much money, I'll think about it. But in actual fact, I'm not going to change because I'm going to do what you did. That's the only quarrel. So the actual nitty-gritty in COP17 or COP1, COP8, COP10, Rio, wherever you, Kyoto, Copenhagen, has not even come onto the table for negotiating. Which is, alright, am I putting a moratorium? You will be allowed to have 500,000 cars and I will be allowed to have 500,000 cars. Fine. Now let's talk about this. But that hasn't even come onto the table. Okay, you will be allowed to have 400 coal-based plants and I will be allowed to have 400 coal-based plants. Once you get to actuals, then there will be no more quarreling, then we're dealing. And we will be able to reach a sensible solution. But we haven't even reached the point of dealing. Because there's nothing to deal with. What we're actually doing is saying, I'm going to do what you're going to do, and you're saying, no, you're not going to do what I'm going to do. And I'll pay you not to do it, but my money is very little because my euro is going down the drain and I've got a recession going on in the US, so I'm going to give you very little.